Dear friends, good morning. Let us discuss the Model 3. Already we completed the Model 4, in which we have discussed about the number system. Okay. After the number system, already we completed the MCQ also. After the Model 3, there is a operational amplifier. I want to complete the Model 5. I want to go to the Model 5. Let us complete the operational amplifier, which is a Model 3. Okay. In Model 3, we are discussing about the operational amplifier. It is, in short, you can call it as a op-amp. In 1940, the first operational amplifier invented, that is made up of vacuum tubes, and these are used for analog computers to perform variety of mathematical operations such as addition, multiplication, division, basic mathematical operations. Then these are made up of vacuum tubes. The drawbacks of vacuum tubes were they were bulky, they consume lot of power and very expensive. So this is about the history. It is started from 1940, the first operational amplifier. The basic idea of the operational amplifier, it is used to design the circuit for mathematical operations. So variety of mathematical operations were required in day-to-day life. To perform this through the electronic circuit, so all are made up of operational amplifier. Next, the semiconductor type of operational amplifier is invented around 1968 by Robert J. Weidler in the Fairchild company. The Fairchild is the name of the company where the scientist named Robert invented the first semiconductor based IC in 1968, and he named that IC as 741. 741 is the name of the IC. So that is made up of BJT, already we discussed in a Model 2, bipolar junction transistor, and FETs. It is made up of the BJT and FET, and in a silicon wafer, that is integrated circuit. So in integrated circuit, a small size, very small size, and by use of the transistors and BJT, the first semiconductor based operational amplifier design, and it is called as a 741. The advantage are design very simple, it is inexpensive, less space, and it consumes less power. And other advantages of the operational amplifiers are it operates on lower voltages, low cost, small size, versatility, flexibility, and dependability. These are some of the advantages of the operational amplifier. What are the applications? Let us see the applications of the operational amplifiers. They are used in process control, communication, computers, power and signal sources, displays, and measuring systems. So these are the some of the applications of the operational amplifier. What we are using in a day-to-day, a calculator. All are using the calculators. So that calculator also made up of operational amplifier. So let us see the symbol of the operational amplifier. The above figure shows the symbol of the operational amplifier. In that you can see it is made up of 5 pins. Positive supply voltage named as a plus VCC, that is on pin 7. Pin 4 minus VEE, here you can see. Pin number 6 is a output voltage V0, and we have the 2 terminals called the inverting input terminal at pin number 2 here, and pin number 3 non-inverting input terminal, that is on the pin number 3. You can observe here the minus and plus signs, minus and plus signs here in the figure. So inverting input terminal means connected to the negative minus terminal, it is a minus sign, and non-inverting input terminal is a plus sign. So we required at least 5 terminals for any operational amplifier. So positive supply voltage, it is also called as a VCC or plus 5, that is on 7. Negative supply voltage terminal minus VEE or minus V at pin number 4. The output terminal at pin number 6. The inverting input terminal marked as negative at pin number 2. The non-inverting input terminal marked as a positive at pin number 3. Marked as a positive at pin number 3. That you can observe here. This is the symbol of an operational amplifier. Let us see what are the meaning of the inverting and non-inverting operational amplifier. Here you can see, observe the second block. Here you can observe, if you connect here a input voltage and to the pin number 2, so that is you can see the negative symbol. So plus VCC is here, minus VE is here, output is V0. Here you can observe this figure and this figure. This is the input and this is the output. You can see there is a 180-degree phase shift. You can observe 180-degree phase shift between the input signal with respect to output signal, because we are connected the signal to the inverting terminal. Inverting means the output will have to be opposite to the input. So that you can observe here in this figure, 180-degree phase shift. Then it is called as a inverting terminal. The input applied to the inverting terminal. Second figure you can observe this one. The voltage input is applied to the pin number 3, that is here. You can observe marked as a positive. So input is here and you can observe the output. There is no change between the input and the output polarities. So that is called as a in phase, and there is a 0-degree phase shift. So both are in phase. The input and the output both are in same phase if you give the input or apply the input to the pin number 3, that is a non-inverting input terminal. If you connect the inverting input terminal, then the output will be 180 degree phase shift or anti-phase. You can see the opposite polarity. And if you connect the input to the non-inverting input terminal, that is pin number 3, you will get in phase output. The output is with the phase with the input. So that you can observe here in the figure. So these are the basic idea about the operational amplifier. Now coming to the next page, going to the power supply. See the power supply, how we have to connect the power supply. There are two types of connection. One is a balanced and another one is a unbalanced. Balanced means the plus VCC, here you can observe the plus VCC and the minus VEE both have same voltage, so with the same magnitude but opposite in polarities. You can see the plus VCC is plus 15 volts, whereas minus VEE is equal to minus 15 volts. You can see the plus VCC and minus VEE and a ground in between here. So both are same. The voltages are plus 15 volts to the minus 15 volts. Both the voltages magnitudes are same. Then it is called as balanced. You can see the second figure here, unbalanced, where you can observe the plus VCC is plus 15 volts, whereas minus VEE is minus 12 volts. So both are different. VCC and VEE voltages you can observe plus 15 volts and minus 12 volts, both are different. Then it is called as a unbalanced voltage. So this is called as a dual power supply. We require a dual power supply plus 15 volts and minus 15 volts, then it is called as a dual if you are applying the two voltages. So that you can observe here in the figure. So next let us see the ideal op-amp. A ideal op-amp basically is called as a differential amplifier. You can observe the figure here. This figure you can observe. It is a differential amplifier, an ideal operational amplifier. All the operational amplifier is made up of the basics of the differential amplifier. You can see the plus and minus, V1 and V2. There are two voltages. Here you can see there are two voltages, V1 and V2. V1 is connected to the plus, V2 is connected to the negative. Plus means non-inverting, negative means inverting. V1 connected to the plus with respect to ground. This is called as a ground. And V2 connected to the inverting terminal with ground. So we have the two voltages we required. Please keep in mind we require the two voltages connected to the inverting and non-inverting terminals. So V1 and V2. Because of the V1 and V2, we have the output generated across the output terminal, that is denoted as V0. So V0 with respect to ground. So this is called as a ideal operational amplifier, which is basically made up of differential amplifier. So the differential amplifier amplifies the difference between two input voltages. Difference between two input voltages. The input voltages are V1 and V2. Here this is V1 and V2. Hence it is called as a difference amplifier. So let us see what are the V1 and V2. So let us see if the V1 and V2 are two input signals, while V0 is a single-ended output voltage. An ideal differential amplifier, the output voltage V0 is proportional to the difference between the two input signals. Difference between two input signals means the difference between V1 minus V2. So the difference between these two input signals V1 minus V2 is directly proportional to the output voltage. The change in output voltage V0 is because of it is directly proportional to the difference between V1 minus V2. That here you can observe. There are one more term called the differential gain that is given by AD here, and the equation is V0 equal to AD V1 minus V2. What is differential gain? A differential gain with which the differential amplifier amplifies the difference between the two input signals, and this gain is called as a differential gain, AD. That is given by this parameter called as a AD. So AD is what? The difference between the two inputs is generally called as a difference voltage. The difference between the wait. So here you can observe, sorry for the disturbance. Okay, the difference between the two input V1 minus V2 is generally called difference voltage, and it is denoted as V, generally denoted as VD. So that you can observe here. So VD is the difference between the two input voltages, means V1 minus V2. So total output is given by the equation called as V0 equal to AD VD, the product of AD and VD. V0 is the output voltage, AD is a differential gain, VD is a difference voltage, that is V1 minus V2. So AD is the gain with which differential amplifier amplifies the difference between the two input signals. So gain means what? Output to the input. The ratio of the output to the input is called as a gain. Hence, the AD can be written as V0 by VD. Okay, so the gain is also expressed in terms of decibels called as a dB. There you can observe here, if you given the decibel, then it is a the equation AD equal to 20 log 10 AD, that is expressed in dB. So not the this is not the AD, it will be the VD. So you have to change the equation. So it will be AD 20 log 10 VD. So instead of here you have to write VD, that is a change. So generally the differential gain is expressed in its decibel. So please remember, you have to mention or you have to calculate the differential gain for the op-amp in terms of decibels, that is called as a dB. So let us see one more parameter called as common mode gain, that is given by AC. So AC called as common mode gain. When common mode gain means when both the inputs V1 equal to V2, then ideal the output voltage is V0 equal to V1 minus V2 AD must be 0. So in ideal condition, there are two conditions here we have to always consider. What is the common mode gain? That is denoted as AC. So we have to discuss about the ideal and practical conditions. For the ideal condition, the two input voltages means V1 and V2 are equal, then the output V0 is equal to 0. For the ideal condition, when the true inputs means V1 and V2, the input connected to the non-inverting and inverting terminals, if both the voltages are same, then output V0 must be 0. So this is for the ideal condition. But in practical, it is not possible. The output voltage of the differential amplifier not only depends on the difference voltage but also on average common level of two inputs. So that is given by Vc. Here you can observe the Vc equal to V1 plus V2 divided by 2. So that equation is nothing but the average. What we are doing, we are taking the average of V1 plus V2 divided by 2. So common mode gain, that is denoted as AC, is here. You can see the equation V0 output voltage equal to AC multiplied by Vc. So the product of AC and Vc. Vc is the average, AC is a common mode gain, and it is equal to output voltage V0. So there is exits same in finite outputs for V1 equal to V2 due to such common gain AC. So there exists finite output for V1 equal to V2. In ideal condition, we have seen that when V1 is equal to V2, V0 is equal to 0. But here in practical, even though both are same, some voltage present in the output. So that is called as a common mode gain AC. So that is given by the equation here, V0 equal to AD VD plus AC Vc. So AD is a differential gain, VD is a difference voltage, V1 minus V2, plus AC is a common mode gain, Vc is a average. So that is the equation of the output voltage V0. One more parameter called as CMRR, that is called a common mode rejection ratio. So what is the CMRR? Common mode rejection ratio. So due to the mismatch in the circuit, even though V1 is equal to V2, but AC is not equal to 0, because the AC is common mode gain is very less compared to the differential gain AD. Please remember, due to mismatch in the circuit, some output available means V0 is available even though V1 is equal to V2, and AC common mode gain is not equal to 0. So it means that the AC is very less. AC means common mode gain is very less compared to the differential gain AD. So there is one more parameter called as a common mode rejection ratio, CMRR. Some voltage is applied to the both inputs. The differential amplifier is operated in common mode configuration. Same voltage means V1 is equal to V2. When the V1 is equal to V2, then we apply the same voltages to both the terminals of the inverting and non-inverting. Then if you operate the differential amplifier, then it is called as a common mode configuration. Please remember, when inputs to the V1 and V2 both are same, then it is called as a common mode configuration. Many disturbances and signals noise present in the common mode configuration. These noise or unwanted signals, they appear at the output. So these unwanted noise and disturbances we have to terminate or we have to reject. So that rejection of the unwanted noise and disturbances from the input signal is called as a common mode rejection ratio, CMRR. So it is a, here you can see common mode rejection ratio, also expressed in terms of decibels. So it is a ratio of AD by AC. AD is a differential gain, AC is a common mode gain. If the ratio of AD to the AC, then it is called a common mode rejection ratio. What happening in, we have the some unwanted signals, noise will be present at both the input terminals. So these we have to avoid. These signals have to be rejected, and that rejection concept is called as CMRR. So ratio of differential voltage gain AD to the common mode voltage gain AC is called as a CMRR. So ideally common mode voltage AC is 0. In ideal conditions, again we have the two conditions called as a ideal condition and practical conditions. Ideal condition, the AC is 0, so CMRR is infinite. So for in ideal condition AC is 0. So when AC is 0, the CMRR is infinite, but in practical differential amplifier, the AD is very very high compared to the AC. So CMRR is very large. So please remember these things: common mode rejection ratio and CMRR. So CMRR is expressed in dB, so that you can see here in a dB, in decibel. Okay, now this is the one of the example of the operational amplifier. So go through that example. So determine the output voltage of the differential amplifier for an input voltage 300 microvolts and 240 microvolts. The differential gain of the amplifier is 5000 and the value of CMRR is 100 and 10 to the power of 5. There are two, CMRR for 100 and CMRR 10 to the power of 5. So the differential amplifier is represented as shown in figure 10.5. So here this is a differential amplifier. You can observe here V1 is 300, V1 is 300 microvolts connected to V1, that is plus, and V2 is 240 microvolts connected to the inverting terminal minus AD. You can see the 5000 and the V0 we want to calculate. So already we discussed the VC is here. The VC is a average voltage, so V1 plus V2 divided by 2, so 300 plus 240 divided by 2, so you are getting the 270 microvolts. So CMRR is AD by AC. CMRR for 100 for first point, AD is 5000 divided by AC. So AC is equal to 50. AC is equal to 50, that you can find. So V0 equal to, so 5000 divided by 100, you get the AC equal to 50. VD is Here you can see the VD. VD is V1 minus V2, that is the difference. So V1 is 300 and V2 is 240. So we are getting the 60 microvolts. So AC is 50. So you can put into V0. So V0 is AD VD plus AC VC. Here you can observe this equation. So you get VD is 60 microvolt, AD is already given 5000 plus AC VC, you will get 50 into 270. AC is 50, already we found the AC. VC is average voltage, that is at 270. So 313.5 millivolts will be the output, that is V0 for CMRR 100. So similarly for second point, 10 to the power 5, again you can have to find the AC, AD divided by CMRR. As I told, the ratio of CMRR, so 5000 divided by 10 to the power 5, so 0.05. So V0, again you can put V0 equal to AD VD plus AC VC. You get the 300.0135 millivolts. So these are the some points you have to remember. This is the example. Let us see. Let us see one more parameter. Called as the ideal op-amp characteristics. There are many characteristics they have highlighted for the operational amplifier. These are the ideal op-amp characteristics. So refer that figure again. We have the V1, V2. In V2 we have the current I2. You can see the direction, I2 equal to 0, I1 equal to 0, minus is the inverting terminal, plus is a non-inverting terminal. Then you can see one more parameter called AOL, that is infinite. Then you can see the V0 plus minus. Refer this figure. So following things you have to be observed here. There are 3 points they have highlighted. An ideal op-amp draws no current from the input terminals, that is I1 equal to I2 equal to 0, means I1 I2 is equal to 0, means there is no current. Because of this, the input impedance is infinite and the source can drive it and there is no loading on the driver stage. And second point, the gain of the ideal op-amp is infinite, hence the differential input called as the VD. VD is nothing but the V1 minus V2. The difference already I have explained is 0 for the finite output voltage V0. So VD is equal to 0 for the V0, for the finite output voltage V0, and the gain is infinite. The output voltage V0 is independent of the current drawn from the output terminal. Thus its output impedance is 0 and hence output can drive an infinite number of other circuits. So these are some of the points you have to remember. So based on these 3 points, we have the different properties of the operational amplifier. These are also called as the ideal op-amp characteristics. So let us see one by one. The infinite voltage gain, IOL, the first one here, that is equal to infinite. It is denoted as AOL. It is the differential open loop gain and is infinite for an ideal op-amp. Second point, infinite input impedance, that is Rin, that is also the infinite. Zero output impedance here. So the output of impedance is denoted as R0. This is O means output, in means input. So zero output impedance means the output impedance is zero, denoted as R0 for an ideal op-amp operational amplifier. So this RO equal to 0 means the output voltage of op-amp remains same irrespective of the value of load resistance connected. Zero offset voltage, that is here VIOS, that is also equal to 0. So this is nothing but the presence of a small output voltage, though V1 equal to V2 equal to 0 is called an offset voltage. So V1 equal to V2 equal to 0 means there is no input signal connected to the op-amp. You can see V1 equal to V2 equal to 0 means there is no input signal connected, even though there is small voltage present in the circuit, and that voltage is called as a zero offset voltage. So coming to the next, called as a infinite bandwidth. Bandwidth is the difference between the two frequencies, is called as a bandwidth. So the range of frequencies over which the amplifier performance is satisfactory or stable is called as a bandwidth. The range of frequencies. Okay, so then the difference between the two frequencies is called as a range of the frequencies, called as a bandwidth. So range of frequencies where you can have the stable performance of the op-amp is called as a bandwidth. So here in this case infinite bandwidth, so frequency range is between 0 to infinite, and the advantage of this 0 to infinite range of the frequency ensures that the differential amplifier can amplify DC as well as AC signals. So this point is very important, DC as well as AC signals, that here you can observe. So infinite CMRR, next parameter. Already we discussed about the common mode rejection ratio. Even though the V1 and V2 difference voltage is present, so many unwanted and noise are present. That noise we have to reject. That rejection is called as CMRR, and it is a ratio of AD by AC. So it is an infinite, already we have seen. Next, infinite slew rate, S equal to infinite again. So slew ratio or slew rate is a infinite slew rate indicates that the output change simultaneously with the change in input voltage. The parameter slew rate is actually defined as the maximum rate of change of the output voltage with time and expressed in volts per microsecond. That here you can observe. Slew rate is nothing but how much output voltage means V0 change with respect to input. So that is a slew rate, S equal to D. D means change of V0 divided by dt with respect to time. So the maximum change in output because of the change in the input. So this must be infinite, means we have to follow the output with input. If the input and output are not in synchronization, then it will not operate properly, and distortions and noise will be present in the system, or in an output we will get the distortion. Simply, with the rate of input change, we have to observe the proportional change immediately or simultaneously in an output. So then it is called as a infinite slew rate. So no effect of temperature. The characteristics of op-amp do not change with the temperature, that you can see here. There is no effect on the temperature on the op-amp. Next one is a power supply rejection ratio, that is called as a PSRR. So PSRR is equal to 0. The power supply rejection ratio is defined as the ratio of the change in input offset voltage due to the change in supply voltage producing it, keeping other power supply voltage constant. It is also called as a power supply sensitivity. Earlier discussed about a zero offset voltage. So zero offset voltage is what? Even though V1 equal to V2 both are 0, the input at the V1 and V2 both are 0, then also a small voltage is present. Then it is called as a zero offset voltage. So that zero offset voltage change with respect to VCC. Here you can observe the equation. Delta means change in zero offset voltage with respect to change in VCC. VCC is nothing but what? The output voltage, the supply voltage connected to the pin number 7. Already I explained in a symbol. Refer the symbol. At pin number 7 we have the plus VCC, that is a positive supply voltage. Due to the change in VCC, what is the change in offset voltage? So the ratio of the VIOS to the VCC, change in VCC, is called as a PSRR. By maintaining the constant VEE. VEE is connected to the negative terminal of the operational amplifier. So please refer the symbol. So pin number 4 you can observe minus VEE. By making the constant VEE, the change in offset voltage with respect to change in plus power supply is called as a PSRR. Next, coming to the summary of all the different parameters what we have discussed. Here you can see the different parameters of the op-amp. So go through the summary. Open loop voltage gain AOL, that is infinite. Input impedance Rin, infinite. Output impedance RO, 0. Offset voltage 0. Bandwidth infinite. CMRR infinite. Slew rate infinite. Power supply rejection ratio 0. So please remember these points of the ideal characteristics of a op-amp. Next, coming to the block diagram of an op-amp. The block diagram of a op-amp means the integrated circuit is fabricated or designed by using these block diagrams. So refer this block diagram. We have the input stage, intermediate stage, buffer and level shifting stage, output stage. So input stage, you can see we have the two inputs, input 2, input 1. Input 2 is connected to the inverting and input 1 is connected to the non-inverting of the input stage. The input stage of the block diagram you can see, and what are the requirements of the input stage. It must have high voltage gain, high input impedance, two input terminals, small input offset voltage, small input offset current, high CMRR means rejection it has to reject the unwanted noise. Low input bias current. The dual input balance output differential amplifier satisfies all these requirements which are highlighted above. Hence, the differential amplifier is used as an input stage. Already I have discussed about the differential amplifier. So that differential amplifier is used as used as a differential amplifier. So the differential amplifier satisfies the condition what I have highlighted. Next, coming to the intermediate stage. So the intermediate stage, output of the input stage drives the next stage, which is in a intermediate stage. This is another differential amplifier with dual input, unbalanced, that is single-ended output. The overall gain is requirement of the op-amp is very high. The input stage alone cannot provide such a high gain. The main function of the intermediate stage is to provide an additional voltage gain required. Practically, the intermediate stage is not a single amplifier but chain or cascade amplifier called as multi-stage amplifier. So intermediate stage, it is not by a single intermediate amplifier is not satisfied. For that we have to connect multiple operational amplifiers. So then it is called a multiple amplifiers. So that here you can see in the intermediate stage. Then level shifting stage, the signals which are generated is not at the up to the mark, so we have to amplify again. That is called as a level shifting stage. You can see the level shifting stage. There is a third stage. Third stage of the figure. Just a bit. So buffer and level shifting stage. So level shifting stage, DC level down to the ground potential when no signal is applied at the input terminal. Then the signal is given to the last stage, which is the output stage. The final last block of the operational amplifier's block diagram is the output stage. The output stage supplies the load and provides the low output impedance. The requirement of a good output stage, again it is highlighted 5 points. So large output voltage swing capability. Second one is a large output current swing capability. Low output impedance. You can compare this with the input stage. Always remember, in input we require the high input impedance to avoid the noise and distortion, but always we require the low output impedance at the output stage. Low power dissipation, short circuit protection. So these all are satisfied with the use of the push-pull amplifier in class AB or class B operations. So some amplifiers called as a, here you can see, called as a push-pull amplifiers in class AB or class B operations. These type of amplifiers will be required to satisfy the conditions of the output stage. As input we require the differential amplifier, and at the output we require this type of push-pull amplifiers in a class AB. So refer the 10.22 this figure. That is a block diagram of an op-amp. here you can see plus VCC minus VEE is the plus sign. This is the minus. These are the two are called the input as a differential amplifier. Then the fourth stage is called the output. Third stage is called the level shifting. Nothing but one of the amplification and to avoid the clipping and the distortion from the output. So 10.22 this figure shows the four stages what we have discussed now. Okay, so the operational amplifier we have discussed. So finally these are the syllabus we are discussing. So ideal op-amp characteristics we have studied, applications of op-amp, inverting and non-inverting, summing amplifier, difference amplifier and differentiator, integrator. Okay, so these are the applications of the op-amp that we are going to discuss in the next lecture. And also I am requesting to submit the assignments within the due date. For these assignments are for 40 marks. You have to submit the assignments within the due date and submit the assignment by writing your name, VTU number and date and signature on all the pages and submit in the Google class. Okay, thank you.